For 10 years, I thought I had the perfect family. For 10 years, I thought I had the perfect family. A loving husband, a beautiful home in the quiet suburbs of Riverton, Utah. But on a Tuesday afternoon, a single folder hidden on his computer shattered that illusion forever. I was about to find out. I'd been sleeping next to a monster. Every dream we shared, every family picture on the wall, every "I love you" he ever said was about to be rewritten. This is how the man I built my life with revealed a secret so dark. It didn't just destroy our family. Section 1, the perfect illusion. From the outside looking in, we were the American dream. Jason Litton was the perfect family man, or so everyone thought. He was charming, a hard worker, and a pillar of our community. We met young, fell in love hard, and spent a decade building what I truly believed was a fortress of happiness. Ha ha ha, we had 3 wonderful kids, a house filled with laughter, and friends who told us we were the couple they looked up to. Jason coached Little League. He brought home flowers for no reason at all. He was my rock, my partner, the one person on earth I trusted completely. Our life had a rhythm, a comforting, predictable routine that always made me feel safe. Family game nights, summer road trips, backyard barbecues, we did it all. He had a successful career, and I was devoted to raising our kids in a warm, loving home. We were a team, Jason and Ashley Litton. Our life was perfect. But I was about to learn that perfection is often just a mask for the most unspeakable things. Looking back now, the signs were there. They were so small, almost invisible. Like whispers in a hurricane of domestic bliss, they were easy to brush off to explain away. He suddenly got private with his phone, which he used to leave lying around without a care. I'd catch a shadow of distance in his eyes, in quiet moments, but then he'd flash a reassuring smile. And it would be gone. I'd ask if everything was okay. And he'd just wrap me in his arms and tell me not to worry. That it was just stress from work. And I believed him. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? This was Jason. My Jason. The man who held my hand when our first child was born. The man who cried at our wedding. It's amazing what you can convince yourself to ignore, when the alternative is simply too terrifying to think about. I told myself my gut feelings were just my own anxiety, the product of a tired mom's overactive imagination. I chose to believe in the beautiful lie, because the truth was a possibility my mind just couldn't entertain. The ground beneath our life felt solid, but it was nothing more than a thin sheet of ice over a dark, churning abyss. And that ice was about to crack. Section 2. The unraveling. The day my world ended started like any other Tuesday. It was painfully ordinary. The sun was shining, the children were at school. and I had a few hours to myself. I decided to finally tackle a mountain of paperwork. I needed a financial document. I knew it was on our family computer. I sat down at the desk in our home office. The same desk Jason used for his late nights. The computer hummed to life, showing our screensaver a photo of our smiling family, a picture of pure innocence, and a cruel preview of the depravity I was about to uncover. I navigated through the folders, the sound of my clicks echoing in the quiet house. Documents, finances, family photos, and then I saw it. A folder that didn't belong. It was buried deep within his personal account, not the shared family drive. It had a deliberately forgettable name, but it stood out. That little flicker of intuition I've been suppressing. For why was this folder here? And why was it so hidden? For a second, I almost closed the window. A voice in my head screamed at me to walk away and preserve the life I loved. It felt like a violation of his privacy, a line I could never uncross. But a stronger, more primal instinct took over. The same one that had been trying to warn me for months. My hand was shaking as I moved the cursor over the folder. I clicked it. Wasn't just one thing. It was a gallery of nightmares. Not just a few images, but hundreds. Hundreds of sick, inappropriate photos. The air left my lungs in a silent scream. The room started to spin, the edges of my vision going blurry. Not here, not in my house, not on my computer, and not from my husband. A wave of nausea hit me so hard. I had to grip the desk to stay upright. Each one was a dagger, twisting in the heart of my reality. The smiling man from our family photos was a collector of stolen innocence. The foundation of my life didn't just crack. It turned to dust. The man I loved didn't exist. He was a character he played, and in his place was a monster. The monster I had been sleeping next to for a decade. For the first few hours, I was just paralyzed by a storm of emotions. Disbelief was the anchor, a desperate refusal to accept what I had just seen with my own eyes. It had to be a mistake, a virus. A hack, it had to be anyone but Jason. But deep down, I knew this wasn't some intruder from the outside. It was a monster on the inside. That hidden folder explained everything. The secrecy, the distance, the shadows in his eyes. It was the answer to a question I'd always been too terrified to even ask. As the shock started to fade, it was replaced by a cold, terrifying clarity. I was living in a house with a predator. My family was living under the same roof as him. The safety of our home was a lie. Every room, every corner suddenly felt contaminated. That realization ignited something new in me, something that overrode the shock and grief. A primal, protective rage? I wasn't a wife anymore, I was a mother. And my family were the only thing that mattered. I knew I couldn't just confront him. Not without a plan. The man I thought I knew was gone, replaced by a stranger capable of this level of deceit. Who was this person? What else could he do? The fear was suffocating, but I forced myself to think clearly. I had to be smart. I couldn't let him know that I knew. Not yet. I had to pretend everything was normal. Even as my world burned down around me, that afternoon, I started my own secret investigation. I used my phone to take pictures of the computer screen, documenting the folder of the file names. The sheer volume of his collection, every photo I took felt like a betrayal of the man I once loved, but it was an act of loyalty to the people I had to protect. Living that lie for the next few days was the hardest thing I've ever done. I had to smile when he walked through the door. After work, I had to sit across the dinner table from him and listen to him ask our kids about their day. All while those sickening images burned behind my eyes. It was a waking nightmare. I was playing a part, just like he had for our entire marriage. But my performance had a purpose. I was gathering the evidence I needed to burn his world to the ground, just as he had done to mine. I had to lie next to him in our bed, my body rigid with disgust, and pretend to be asleep.